Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Theravada Buddhism series, Dharma talk number 67. Buddha's contributions to humanity, year 1 and 2. As the title indicates, it is Buddha's contributions. So it started from the moment of full enlightenment of the Buddha. Today is year 1 and 2. The first year and the second year. But we'll approach not by the calendar year, by the Vasa rain retreat, the first rain retreat, the second rain retreat, and so on. Buddha attained full enlightenment under a Bodhi tree in Buddhagaya in India on the full moon day of May. He spent 7 weeks at 7 places near the Bodhi tree, contemplating the dharma attained. Then travel to Mikadavana Park in Satipatthana states. The reason is the 5 ascetics who were attending him while he was practicing austerities program for 6 years are then living and practicing in Mikadavana Park and Satipatthana. So the Buddha decided he would go and teach them first. The Buddha arrived at Mikadavana Park on the full moon day of July. It's about 2 months after his enlightenment. That full moon day of July or full moon day of Vasa eventually falls as the beginning of the rain retreat for the Theravada Buddhists. Full moon day of July to full moon day of October, 3 months. During the 3 months, all the Buddhist monks stay in one place. Do not travel to any other places overnight except for emergencies and special occasions. They stay in one place and mostly practice for themselves. 3 months a year. Of course, it is conditioned by the environment, climate. In India, at that time, it's a monsoon season, heavy rainfalls, 3 months. So it is best not to travel, not to get wet, not to get soaked, and so on. And on the full moon day of July, or Vasu, the Buddha delivered his first sermon or discourse, the turning of the wheel of dharma, the Machaka Pavattana, to the 5 ascetics. And after that, the Buddha delivered Anatta Sutta, discourse on non-self. At the end, all the 5 ascetics became Arhat. Those 5 are or were the first 5 disciples of the Buddha. Bhikkhu Kuntinya, the eldest and the one who enlightened first, is the first disciple or monk or bhikkhu who became Buddha's disciple as an arahant. Buddha and the 5 monks spent their first rain retreat in that forest, Mikadawanapad. Of course, people from the vicinity go to and fro, and when they saw the Buddha and the 5 monks practicing, they approached. Some curious, some are searchers, and some actually learned from the Buddha. The first was a person named Yasa. He is the son of a wealthy person in the neighborhood. He practiced under the Buddha, and also he brought in 4 of his close friends. So altogether 5, they practiced. The Buddha taught them, they practiced. And those 5, Yasa and 4 friends, brought another 50 of their friends. So altogether 55. They practiced for 2 to 3 months periods with the Buddha at that path, and they all became Arahant. So that at the end of October, full moon October, Buddha has 60 disciples. All of them are Arahant. That's the end of the first rain retreat. So actually it is, let's see, full moon of May, June, July, August, September, October. In 5 months, it's end of first rain retreat, full moon day of May, June, full moon day of October. Buddha had 60 disciples who are arhat. After the full moon day of October, the end of the first rain retreat, of course, Buddha and the 60 arahants headed towards Rajagaha city at the Magadha kingdom. Magadha is a country. Rajagaha is the capital of that country. During that time, India continent is divided into many different smaller countries. Now are states. And one of the country is Magadha. Actually, Buddha traveled to 16 different countries within the India continent, mostly in the middle and the south, middle and the north, during his 45 years of ministry to teach on foot. And the reason Buddha went to Rajagaha was that is the center of great learning area, let's call it. There's a lot of religious activities of many different sects and groups are happening. So in other words, a learning place. All people came or promote or teach whatever they learn, they have learned, they know. So it is full of religious activities of many different groups. Because of that, Buddha headed to that city, Rajagaha. And along the way, the Buddha met Bhadavagi, is the name of a person. Bhadavagi and his 29 brothers and cousins, 30 of them. They are as a group, they are practicing in search of truth. Let's call it that way. The Buddha met Bhadavagi and his 29 brothers and cousins. They are from the Kasava kingdom, another kingdom, but they came there to Magadha kingdom and searching spiritual. And the Buddha taught those 30 and they all become his disciple, arahant and a disciple. And the next, along the way again, the Buddha met 3 brothers. One is called Uruvela Kassapa, another is Nadi Kassapa, and the third is Bhaya Kassapa. Those 3 are also practicing in a forest with their followers, with 1,000 followers. They are practicing. They all swam into the Magadha kingdom around Rajagaha city. The Buddha met them at the Uruvela forest. The Buddha stayed with them for 3 months and taught them, and they all became arahants and a disciple. By then, the Buddha had 60 from the first group, 30 from the second group, 90, and 1,000 from the third group. 1,090 disciples who are arahants. Because these are all people actually on the path in search of something, spirituality. They are mature. They are full of parami. So, as a group, they all became arahants. It is not by coincidence that they are there. They were there because they had worked so hard in many lives and were ready. All they need is to meet a Buddha, get the teachings, and practice. So in a very short period, some within weeks, some within months, they became arahant. It is the parami, the past karma. Buddha continued his journey after the full moon day of January. So he's traveling since the October full moon, November, December, January, 3 months. He traveled and stayed at a palm forest, because a lot of palm trees, I guess. They call it a palm forest. It's still a fair distance from the city of Rajagaha. And in that city, it's a capital, the country of Magadha. The ruler is Bimbisara. Bimbisara, King Bimbisara. That was the ruler. Of course, as his kingdom is full of activities of various religious, spiritual people, he's interested in it and always keep a close eye. And most of them are pretty old people, teachers are. And here comes young one who is in the late 30s, fairly good looking, young, doesn't look like somebody who's searching for truth or spirituality. The king watched the Buddha closely and he was impressed with everything he saw and he heard. So he went to the Buddha, who was residing at the palm forest, and he said, "You live quite a distance from me. Why don't you move a little closer to the city? I have they call it a garden, a Velubana garden. In other words, it's a big, huge garden park where the kings go. Okay, let's say we'll go from the city to about 50-60 miles in a park for a little weekend or a week off." That's what the king did. He went to Velubana garden said, I will donate my garden to you, and you can stay with all your monks there, so that you can live closer to me and I can come and visit you quite often and learn your teaching. The Buddha accepted the donation, and that was the first land donation Buddha received or accepted. But again, Buddha did not take it on his own behalf. Donated to me, it's mine. Not that way. The way he said is, okay, King Bimbisara, you can donate this garden to the Sangha. I will receive it on behalf of the Sangha. What that means is all the Buddhist monks, or trying to be a Buddhist monk, coming from all four directions, whoever came can stay there, live there, and practice there. So it is a public place for the monks. No individual owns it. That is how Buddha accepted that Velupana garden from King Bimbisara. So that was the first property donation Buddha received. And while he was staying there, his father, King Suddosana, from another kingdom, heard his sons there, the Buddha, his son. So he invited, please come and visit us. We would love to receive you. He sent an invitation. And one rule is the Buddha or the monks, they don't just go there and force yourself as a visitor upon anybody. They only go to a certain place, certain people, if they are invited, if there is an invitation. That's also another rule. They cannot invite themselves. They must be invited to go anywhere or stay anywhere. So, King Suddosana, that's the name of the Buddha's father. He was the king of the Kapilavatthu city. So, on the full moon day of March, after the full moon day of March, Buddha went to the Kapilavatthu city where his father was a king. And there he ordained his brother Nanda. His brother's name is Nanda, because he has a brother. If you remember, the father was King Suddosana. He has two wives who were sisters. The Buddha's mother passed away, and the younger sister brought him up. And the younger sister also has a son around the same time. His name was Nanda. So he ordained his brother Nanda and also his son Rahula. His son Rahula. He was about maybe 7, 8 years old. Yeah, 8 years old around that time. 8, 9 years old. So those are the two, his brother and his son. He ordained them and brought along with him. And after that, Buddha returned to Rajagaha again. He didn't stay there. He just visited, ordained the brother and the son, and returned to Rajagaha on the full moon day of April. So there's about a month in that city. And on the way back, he stayed at a mango grove near Anupaya village. In the Magadha kingdom. He came back from Kapilavatthu to Rajagaha, and along the way stay at that village, Anupaya village. Near the village there's a big mango groves there. They stay there. And here, I'll take a pause in here and tell what's happening after the Buddha's visit to his father's kingdom. After the Buddha left, they are called Sakya clan. That is, Buddha's clan is called Sakya. King Sudarsana and all his brothers and friends and princes. Sakya clan. The Sakya clan of the Kapilavatthu, they are organizing. Somebody must have organizing. What they are doing was they organized over 1,000 princes. And the purpose is, here's the Buddha, quite famous and well known and everything up and rising. We must support him as a clan, as a relatives. So somebody or a group organized it. Over 1,000 princes. And they all have to become monks so that they can travel with the Buddha and then support him. Settle around, like a little society, Sakya society, as a monk supporting the Buddha. That's the idea. So, this Sakya clan is quite interesting. They have a oligarchy system. It is not, the throne is not passed from father to son. There's a group, let's call it 5, 6 different groups. They all get together. Maybe originally they are 5 brothers or 6 brothers. And say, okay, now you are the king. And when you die, they choose another one in that group. And that person succeeds. That's our oligarchy system. So, at the moment is Sudarsana, the father of Buddha, is the king. And he has his brother. Sudarsana has a brother. And they make a pact. Okay. When one does something, another one will support. So all the Sudarsana sons are going to support the brother's son. We put the brother because it is worth noting. The brother has 2 sons, one called Anuruddha, who eventually became Arahant. And decided to become a monk. He has two sons, but Anuruddha, the younger one, decided to become a monk, and the older brother will take care of the family business. But the mother did not want to let her son Anuruddha become a monk, doesn't want to leave. At the same time, didn't write out, refused. So she planned it. Okay, if you want to become a monk, fine. But if your friend Bhadia, the friend's name is Bhadia, a very close friend, Bhadia is willing to become a monk along with you, I will allow it. She said that way because this Bhadia is next in line for the throne after Sudarsana. If and when Sudarsana passes away, Bhadia will become the king, because the oligarchy system. So she thought Bhadia would never leave for the monkhood. That was her plan. So Anuruddha went and talked to his close friend. Of course, a long story, but eventually Bhadia agreed to become a monk with him. So both of them decided Bhadia and Anuruddha decided to become a monk. And also, among the 1,000 princes, there are a few princes it's worth noting because they become involved with the Buddhism, Buddhas, and the whole story of the early Buddhism. So the prince Bhadia, 1, Anuruddha, 2, and Prince Ananda, 3, Prince Kamila, 4, Prince Phagu, 5, and Prince Devadatta, 6. Those 6 princes are worth noting among all these 1,000, over 1,000 of the Sakya clan who becomes monks. Those 6, they follow the Buddha to the mango grove because they didn't go right away. They have to organize, decide, and then they follow to the mango grove at Anupaya village in the Magadha Kingdom. That's where the Buddha was having a pit stop. And these 6 princes, they brought an attendant, and that attendant was also their hairdresser. Sat out there, hairdresser, along with them. And when they reached the border between the 2 countries, Kapilavatthu and Magadha, and the prince decided, okay, we are not going to be in a country, let's change our clothes, because they come as prince, princely clothes and jewels and so on. They take off all the jewels, clothes, and wear our ordinary farmer's clothes, and give all those valuables to their attendant. Okay, take this, and you can go back to the city now, back home. We are going to head on, and they headed on. And then this hairdresser, their attendant, his name was Upali, 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 was thinking, The prince, they abandoned everything they have, give me all their valuable jewels, and left. They must be going to somewhere there is something of a great value. There was a little line there, I'll repeat. Why should I swallow the spit of another? That was the statement in the scripture. What it was they abandoned the jewels, gave it to him. Why should I take it? Because there's something better down there. So that's how he thought, and he hung up all these jewels and clothes on a tree and followed the prince. And when he reached them, he explained what he did. And the prince said, okay, come along with us. Finally they reached where the Buddha was. They all got ordained. And here too, another interesting thing is, the 6 princes and their attendant, they always attended. They are the boss. And here what they did was, they let their attendant to ordain first and themselves later. The reason is, in the order of monks, anyone who is senior, a year, a month, a day, or even a few minutes, the junior one has to pay respect. By making their attendant the first ordained, they have to pay respect to their ex-attendant, just to curb their conceit. So those are the little things that we can learn from the sutras and the scriptures. And after they've been ordained, of course, they are practicing. The Buddha taught Bhaddiya. Bhaddiya has the sharpest mind among all of them. And soon Bhaddiya become Arahant. And then Anuruddha, he practiced. And he attained Deva Sakya, the eye of the Deva. But it is in one sitting, Anuruddha can see 10,000 galaxies at once. That is the power he attained. That is Anuruddha. And Bhikkhu Puna, the name of a Arahant, the nephew of the first Buddha disciple. If you remember, Bhikkhu Kuntinya. Bhikkhu Kuntinya has a nephew who is also a monk, and he's an Arahant. And this Bhikkhu Puna taught Shin Ananda. He taught Ananda. And Ananda became Satipatthana, the first dream winner. And the prince Kamila and Bhagu also become Arahant. Devadatta did not become even a noble person, needless to say about Arahant. He's just a Puthujjana, but he attained great psychical power, Venya. He attained great psychical power. At that time, Devadatta was not a bad guy yet. He's still a good, wholesome person, and he stayed in his jhanic bliss state of mind and practice. So those are the 6 princes were noting from Sakya clan, among over 1,000 who follow Buddha, to surround and support the Buddha. Okay, so let's go back to Buddha's journey. Now at the mango grove, he got more monks following him, including his relatives. The Buddha and the monks went back to the Velubana Park, the garden that the king donated. And there was only one building in the park. That's where the king stayed whenever he came and visited the park. So all the monks, like now is about over 2,000, they don't have a place to stay. So some stay under the trees, in the caves, in the bushes, wherever they can have a little shelter from the climate, the rain, the sun. That's how they live and practice. And one day, a very wealthy merchant from that Rajagaha city came out of the city early morning, and he saw all the monks popping up from everywhere. Some comes out of a tree, some from the bush, some from the caves. And then they all went for alms round. And that's another rule. They have to go out for an alms round on a daily basis for a daily meal. No more, no less. They came out, and the wealthy man saw, oh, it seems like they don't have a place to stay. So he approached. If I donated some meditation huts for you, would you accept it? And the monk replied, we could not answer that question because the Buddha didn't tell us whether we could or we couldn't. So the wealthy man, the merchant, said, okay, go and ask the Buddha and let me know. And when they went and asked the Buddha said, if anybody donates you a shelter willingly on their own without soliciting, you may accept it, but not for yourself, but on behalf of Sangha. It belongs to the public Sangha. They relay the message back to the merchant. The merchant, within a few days, built 60 kutis, 60 meditation huts in the Velubana Park. So the monks can stay. Maybe each hut might accommodate a few monks. And also, when the merchant's friends heard that he's doing that, they all follow him and built more meditation huts. So the monks now got some shelters to stay and practice. So the Buddha allowed the monks to accept unsolicited food, robes, shelter, and medicine. Unsolicited, and you must not be a burden to anyone for your living. And there the Buddhas and the monks spent the second vasa, second rain retreat in the Velubana Park in Rajagaha city. The first rain retreat in Rajagaha city. With that, we are going to conclude today's talk. The first 2 vasa, or 2 years of Buddha's life, and the activities and the work Buddha's done for humanity. May all of you be able to get inspiration out of Buddha's works and life, and may you be able to practice his teaching, mindfulness, insight, meditation, and attain Nibbana as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.